What is going on, y'all? This is the Caveman. I'm here with Football with Oz Austin for episode 74 of Against the Blitz, recapping week 11. We had a few games on this slate that are certainly worth discussing. A lot of them that left us confused, a lot of them that left us wondering where the future takes some of these teams, and it's going to be some good conversation. But before we get into it, of course, join the Discord link down in the description. And you could talk about football. You could talk about fantasy football. You could talk about your favorite food, your favorite weed strand. I don't know. I don't smoke. What is that? What it's called? Strain?
I have no idea.
Oh, we're both
personally.
Greenies. Okay, so I guess if we don't know, someone let us know. But you could talk about that kind of stuff if you.
I floss regularly. I don't do that.
I don't. I think my dentist knows. I try that. But yeah, week 11, there was a lot that went on. We're going to start from the top. Dolphins, Commanders. What were your immediate takeaways from this 9:30 a.m. absolute fucking poopy, stinky garbage football game?
No thoughts. That's kind of like, I think the only thought that I had was like, these teams are like too hurt and too depleted to even have like my own opinion. Like, am I really going to give it my opinion on what Marcus Mariota throwing to Jalen Lane? Like, is that really... Like, that's not who the Washington Commanders were supposed to be. I'm not going to hate on them too much. Miami, they're actually, like, hurting themselves now. They are completely out of the quarterback conversation in the draft as it stands right now. Like, they're picking outside the top 10 right now. Like, they're very much in Francis Moanoa offensive lineman range, as opposed to potentially getting their franchise quarterback in the draft, because now they decided to turn up. I mean, good for them. They're winning games. That's what they want to do. It's good for them. But yeah, it was a weird game for both of their end of season outlooks.
Yes, it was very, very odd. It makes it even more confusing to see the Dolphins kind of string a couple wins together. And it's not even like they're playing really good football. I mean, I guess the Bills game, it was a good showing. It was probably the best of the season, but I think the Bills equally matched that with their worst. And then they go against this completely depleted Commanders team, and they should have lost if we're being completely honest. Like
the multiple turnover on downs in the red zone. Like, I felt pretty comfortably that Miami felt like the better team. Like, Devon Achane did pretty much whatever he wanted to them all game long. Washington looked pretty bad on offense, but Miami had multiple chances to score, came with 0 points out of multiple red zone drives, and they almost did it again at the very end.
Mm-hmm.
But thankfully they got the ball back quickly. And then Mariota throws a pick on the first play of overtime to get them into field goal range immediately. They run for two first downs and then get their field goal. But yeah, man, that was tough showing. Really tough showing from both teams.
It just is baffling to me that Mike McDaniel, to me, strikes me as like a numbers analytical guy. I would have to imagine he leans into those things. And for two weeks in a row now, his timeout usage has been so bad, in my opinion. Like, he took a timeout before the very first snap against Buffalo. I don't know if you saw that.
No.
But before any time ticked off the clock, they took a timeout. So no one really knows why. And then they win it, so no one thinks about it. And then in this game against the Commanders, I was watching the final sequence where the Dolphins pinned the Commanders deep in their own territory at the end of regulation, and they strike with a 25-yard pass to Debo, and they're all of a sudden off the goal line without timeouts, Washington is. And for some reason, Mike McDaniel is calling timeouts for Washington as they march their way down the field and get in position to kick a potential game-winning field goal. Like, I felt like I was the only person watching that entire game, on my phone, and I'm going to Twitter trying to find other people that are confused. I'm like, what the fuck are they doing? Why are they taking timeouts? At best, you're going to end up with the ball with like 15 seconds left, having to get 30 yards without any timeouts of your own to try and kick a field goal yourself to win. Like, that was at best going to be what happened. Yeah. And that is what happened, except they were bailed out by a miss on Matt Gay's part. It just hasn't been pretty. It's like it feels like they're kind of gaining some momentum, but it's not because they're playing good football or managing football games well. And now they go into a bye week riding this high, coming out against the Saints and the Jets. And like you said, they can very easily play themselves out of, solidifying themselves outside of the top 10 if they kind of string a few more wins together. So if I'm a Dolphins fan right now, I'm shitting myself because I'm watching such a piss poor product that I don't feel good in, and I'm winning. What do I get out of that? What is my benefit from that?
Yeah, I hate being that nerd that's like not wanting you to win because I want you to have a better draft pick. It's because I value the draft so much, but like it's kind of fair, I guess. The only counterpart I would have is if Tua is playing so well that he convinces you that he is your guy going forward, where you don't need that top 5 pick to get your quarterback. But if the plan is still, Tua's not our guy, plus now we can't get our franchise quarterback because the only eligible bachelors in free agency are Daniel Jones and Aaron Rodgers, neither of which I can see in Miami next year. I don't know what their plan's going to be besides rocking with Tua again. And he himself hasn't shown good enough play to make me excited for it. So right now it's just they're winning a couple games, like you said. Yeah, like the Buffalo game was great, like full props to them. This one, not so much. But yeah, I mean, I kind of want to see him lose, get a better player, which I hate being that guy, but that's just how I would feel.
Yeah, I think any rational fan would feel the same way. I mean, I guess it just is the fire your GM boost that's going on right now. The Chris Greer firing
He's
boost.
gone already, isn't he?
Yeah,
Like,
they're riding the high of the boost.
Oh
of
yeah,
him being fired. But yeah, it just isn't. It's just not great. That game was just bad. And my only other note was industry plant Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt loses starting job to C-Rod.
That's
Shocking.
kind of how it should have always been. Like C-Rod was always the Brian Robinson replacement. Like he's the only power back on that team, and they didn't even have like a starting running back at all for 10 weeks straight. They just kind of fantasy blue balled everybody, convinced everybody, not me, but to try and get Bill Krosky-Merritt in like the 7th round, 6th round. It looked good for like 2 weeks. And then they decided that wasn't enough. He actually played well. And then they decided that wasn't good enough. And now their team just sucks.
Yeah, pretty much. I don't know what's worse right now. It's definitely worse to be a Dolphins fan because at least there's more of a foundation set in Washington.
I mean, the Commanders are so hurt. They had like Antonio Hamilton starting out at corner. Like it's your backup quarterback, your backup receivers. Debo was the only starter out there and he played well. Like, I don't know. I wouldn't be worried. I would just be sad that all my good players are hurt, but I wouldn't be like worried for my future in that way. We've talked about our worries for their future in other ways, but not quarterback or anything super serious.
Yeah. The only other question I had for you regarding this game was, do you think the Washington Commanders regret paying Terry McLaurin, DK Metcalf, pretty much DK Metcalf type money?
I mean, you already do because of the injury, but I never truly felt that he was that level of receiver. I thought he was very, very talented and he's very reliable, but like we look around the league at how many different receivers are playing at high levels. I mean, we're talking about freaking George Pickens being a borderline top 10 receiver now. Like after like the amount of receivers that can just walk in and have monster performances day in and day out, especially when you're someone like Washington who really needs a full roster of players. Like paying someone like Terry, who's a 30-year-old, deep threat, $30-something million a year. That's just a little much for my liking, but I do get it. Like you want to make that guy he's been there forever. Like it's your turn to do him right and pay him well. And they did. And it's just burned them so far because he's been hurt. Like I don't I can't speak on it too much yet.
Yeah, that's fair. It definitely is one of those hindsight is 2020 kind of circumstances. Although it does feel like it stings extra because I think they really did do their best to not pay him. Like they made it pretty difficult to reach a consensus, at least as far as what I remember.
It was too much money.
Yeah.
Like from a market value perspective, he's not a top 5 receiver. And on top of that, with his age being 30 years old now, like he didn't deserve as a player $32 million, whatever it was. But like I said before, like it's the trying to do him right. He's been there since 2017. Like he's been there through thick and thin. He's just coming off of his best season, in my opinion, last year. I see the vision why you'd want to pay him that money, do him right. But it just, from a team building perspective, there's better ways to use your money.
Yeah, agreed. Well, talk about managing your assets in a better fashion. There is one particular team that is making the rounds for not having a first round pick despite losing their franchise quarterback to a knee injury and now their star receiver for a few weeks with a PCL injury, and they don't have a first round pick with 3 active victories. That would be the Atlanta Falcons, my favorite football team. Raheem Morris, my guy, goodbye. You need to leave. This is probably, I can't believe I'm saying this, but Raheem Morris potentially getting fired is probably one that I will victory lap harder than like anything Daniel Jones related. This was so fucking obvious. It's not even funny. Like it was so clear as day. And the fact that like no one saw it is mind blowing. Let's just hire the guy that we had a few years back that couldn't do the job successfully. That was a head coach 10 years ago that couldn't do the job successfully. But we'll let Ben Johnson, Mike Vrabel, Mike McDonald, and who else did they let walk out of their building? Someone else. Everybody. They let everybody.
It was everybody that was worth their pants as a head coach, and they're all doing well. Like McDonald and Ben Johnson, the 2 biggest pains, for sure. But I mean, even from a GM perspective, and Terry Fontenot, like they have managed the quarterback position horribly, and even before him, this goes back since the days of Matt Ryan. Like they've been trying to figure it out. They went Mariota for a little bit. That didn't work. They had like, it felt like they could have gotten Lamar Jackson in a trade for a while. Like that felt like it was really going to come to it, but they wouldn't give up the assets. They wouldn't give up like 2 first round picks for him. And now that shit's going for like Sauce Gardner. And then Lamar wins an MVP after that. Like
that's crazy.
And then they sign Kirk Cousins to a blockbuster deal, and then they draft an old Michael Penix Jr. the same year. Like, and still, right now to this day, they don't have a good quarterback on the roster after all of that, which is just the really brutal part. But like you said, on top of them not having a first round pick, I think Penix's injury still hurts them long term because they still have the argument that we haven't seen enough Penix yet to move off from him. So they're going to start 2027 back up again, most likely, with Penix as the franchise guy again. But the way he's been playing, I really do think if he played this full season out, there is a good chance that they could have looked elsewhere because it's not been good, like, at all.
No, it's not. We laughed about it last week. He struggles. He was playing decently well in this game. I think they probably come home with it had he remained healthy for the entire 60 minutes. But that doesn't change the fact that neither of the quarterbacks on the roster are their long-term answer. And I think they know it. And like you said, it just hurts them because now they are going to have to make a decision based on how many career games are we talking? 12? Like we're talking AJ McCarthy level games, honestly.
Yeah, he's been better than that, but like you generally speaking can't you don't want to move on because he hasn't been abysmal. He hasn't been unplayable,
right.
But he hasn't been, give all your assets up for this guy kind of quarterback play yet. He hasn't been top 10 level. He hasn't been sign him or draft him after you sign Kirk Cousins to a blockbuster deal level yet. But yeah, I think the only saving grace for them is that James Pierce has been good. And looking at, how this edge rusher class is probably going to unfold, where they're going to be picking, or they would be picking, they probably wouldn't get a guy better than James Pierce, I don't think. So I don't hate it. They might have realized the same thing, but still, just sucks when your biggest issue might be your quarterback. And it looks like they're in a spot where they still want to try that out, which is fair. They invested so much into him, play it out, but I don't think he's the guy.
Well, my question is, why did the Falcons hold Kirk Cousins basically hostage this entire offseason when he made it apparent he wanted to leave? And we had seen enough of Kirk prior to that to know that he probably is done. His best days of football were behind him. He got benched, yet they still just basically handcuffed him to the locker in the locker room and said, no, you're stuck here. And now it's going to bite the Falcons in the ass because the guy is purely unstartable. Like, it's very sad what has happened to Kirk Cousins, but his whole shtick was playing from the pocket and being able to hit the windows, over the middle and throwing down the field and hitting across, on the sideline. Like, just with the arm, he was a pocket passer. He doesn't have the strength anymore. He can't step into it the same way he used to. The arm strength is so clearly not there. It reminds me of when Burrow's calf was not fully healthy, and it just looked like every ball was just a weak lollipop. And that's just it seems like it is with Kirk because of the Achilles.
Yeah. The Achilles was shredded to pieces, and I mean, like, he doesn't have the recovery of a genetically gifted 25-year-old football player. Like, he is an older man that already was kind of, against all odds athletically. Like, he always just kind of was very much in the mental game, and he has that. But like you said, the physical part's way worse than it even ever was. But yeah, the one part of NFL stuff I wish I knew better was like roster gymnastics. I don't fully understand like the contract of Kirk and how that would have affected a possible trade. But just straight up, yeah, like there is no reason for him to be on that roster being paid that much money by them when they have a lot of good pieces. Like, they're a well-rounded roster in the sense that they don't have a ton of weaknesses, but they also don't have a ton of strengths. They're just a across the board mediocre football team, which makes it hard because you don't really know where you need to improve because everything's okay. But I mean, besides running back and wide receiver 1 and right guard, nothing's great either.
Yeah, that's very true. And it makes it hard to pinpoint where you go next when you lose 30-0 to the Panthers and then you blow an 11-point lead to them 5 weeks later. Like, going back to Raheem Morris, like, the defensive side of the ball, that's supposed to be his forte. And we joked about it before this game, but Bryce Young's career is living and dying and thriving on his performances against Raheem Morris's defense. Like, It's literally surviving off of that. In 3 games against Raheem Morris's Falcons, Bryce Young is 3-0, having averaged 273, 2.3 touchdowns, and 0 picks a game. The Panthers have also averaged 35 points per game in those 3. Not to mention, of course, that they beat him 30-0 and then surrendered a 2-possession lead. Those same splits against everyone else, at least in 2025, Bryce Young averages 175 yards, 1.25 touchdowns, and nearly an interception per game, where the Panthers average just 17 points per game. It's just like, what happens against this devastatingly mediocre team that they just can't figure it out? And I have been a Bryce Young hater. I'm going to continue. I finally will give him credit that he did something to win this one, because in the 30-0 game, the 30-0 zip game, he didn't do shit. This game he did. But
I mean, 448 and 3 touchdowns, right? Like, it's
something.
That's really good. But like you were saying, it's just so odd. The last 3 games down the line against the Jets, 138 yards, Against the Packers, 102 yards and a pick, no touchdowns. Against the Saints, 124 yards and a pick, no touchdowns. And then he shows up against the Falcons, throws for 450 yards and 3 touchdowns. This isn't like a norm. It's not like his norm is like 250 and 2 touchdowns and then has like a huge game. That's one thing. His norm is 180 yards, a touchdown, and a pick. Then he comes in against Atlanta, who has had a very successful pass defense this season. But for some reason, Dave Canales or Bryce Young, I don't know who it is, but they have Raheem Morris's number. I mean, they somehow managed to convince them to put, who was it, like Caden Ellis on Tet McMillan in the end zone on the biggest coverage play of the game. Like, Tet had a great game. Like, I'm not going to take away from Tet, but I swear to God, every time I looked, he was being guarded by somebody that was over 240 pounds. It made no sense. It was like, this is the one guy on the team that truly, truly needs to be keyed in on to stop in coverage. And for some reason, they would put their least eligible coverage guy on him, and it was strange. It was really, really bizarre.
It was horrendously bizarre. It was truly a game that gets a coach fired, and Morris has had so many of those up to this point. But this has to be like, they're not going to do it, but we are getting dangerously close to one more of this type of game, and he's just got to be done. And the thing that really sucks for Falcons fans is I don't strike this as a situation where the coach and GM goes. So do you trust Terry to go through this process again and find another head coach? And then you're kind of going through that cycle, similar to what the Dolphins are experiencing. Like, do you really feel great about that? I don't know. I guess it depends who the coach hire is, if, they actually do smartly pull the trigger. But I think it's just got to be a full house, clean top to bottom. And you go from there, because it's just bad.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, God, even on paper, a lot of Terry Fontenot's moves aren't good. Like, they're not good beforehand. People criticize them all the time, and we criticize them here. And then the results are also not showing. Like, their record, they haven't had enough injuries this season to, explain that terrible record. Their division's not even good. Like, there is zero reason why they're struggling this hard. And I mean, to lose in embarrassing fashion to the Panthers twice, 130-0, and then one where you should have won and you still lost because Bryce Young put up Hall of Fame numbers on you. Like we said it before, credit to Bryce Young, like, he made a lot of great throws, but it's more of a testament to just how bad Atlanta is dealing with their defense right now. Like, only against Carolina, though, it makes zero sense to me.
It is the most bizarre thing ever. Atlanta has been like the team that should win the NFC South for like 4 years now, 3 or 4 years, and it just has never come to fruition, which is just basically, point in case that Fontenot he just can't be it. Like, coming away with Kyle Pitts in that class is really coming back to bite them in the ass. Like, the amount of star players that came out of the top 10 of that group, and it's just, they ended up with the guy that has actively hurt them more than helped over the last few years, as they have continued to bash their head against the wall trying to figure out how to work him in. And it's become such a pain point, such a point of controversy in the fan base, in the NFL community. It's like, that's too big of a swing and miss. Also,
let's just run this list real quick. Right after Pitts. So the top 3, by the way, Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, Trey Lance, Kyle Pitts, top 4. Behind them, Jamar Chase, future Hall of Famer, Jalen Waddle, 1,000-yard receiver, Penei Sewell, Hall of Fame tackle. Then it's J.C. Horn, Pat Surtain, Devontae Smith, Micah Parsons, Rashawn Slater. Like, there is like a group of Hall of Famers. I did skip Justin Fields for the sake of my argument, but still. The fact that, like, the worst player in there is probably Jalen Waddle, and he has like 1,300-yard receiving seasons. He's still a good receiver. That would have been better than drafting the tight end that can't block and peaked in his rookie year.
Yeah. It's like I give a pass to the teams that were going for a quarterback because they were QB or bust.
You do what you got to do. Yeah, sure.
Yes. But they quite literally were in a position where they could have thrown a dart at the board and come away with anybody else, and it would have been more beneficial for them long term if they end up
That's
with
just overthinking it. Like,
oh my God.
Jamar Chase, this isn't hindsight thing. He's like one of the best receiver prospects of all time. Like, he won every award there is to win in college. And the only thing against him was that he skipped his last year because of COVID. But like Kyle Pitts, they were going after an alien. Like, they were hunting this alien. They wanted the next Darren Waller. They wanted the next whatever the hell they wanted. I don't know what they wanted. But yeah, Jamar Chase is now having a Hall of Fame career, coming off a Triple Crown, and Kyle Pitts is just begging for 600 yards.
Could you imagine Penei Sewell on that offensive line too? It's like it's already one of the better run blocking, one of the best rushing schematic offenses in the league with one of the best running backs. If you just add the best run blocking tackle, like that would be a horrifying group. And it's already good, but it's just you just couldn't miss. It's like he literally was in a position where he quite literally couldn't miss, and he did. How is that even remotely fucking possible? I'm starting to feel bad for Falcons fans.
Well, I do want to talk about another rushing attack, one that made me really, really excited. That ended up not working out in the long term for him. But the Bills versus the Buccaneers. This was it's the second Sean Tucker game in his career. Last year it was the Saints. This year it's the Bills. But to not matter, Josh Allen has 6 total touchdowns, and they have a Hall of Famer in the secondary in Cole Bishop.
Yeah, apparently. Like,
awesome.
It doesn't make any sense. I was ready to, ship him off to Guatemala very shortly after the first couple of weeks of his 2025 season here, and I guess 9 just kind of clicked on
9
him somewhere. Yeah, it's just 24 just kind of turned on in there. And
he's not even 24 years old. That's why it's like let's give him a couple minutes of failure before we fully deport him to a country he's not from.
This is legit. Like it was so bad. I would compare this like spike to like Josh Allen development. Like that is how ridiculous I feel like this turnaround has been. And not just because he was like not supposed to be good and now all of a sudden is great, but just because of how bad he was playing and how unconfident he looked and how unprepared he was. Just to literally randomly after acquiring Jordan Poyer to flip a switch. That was almost as unlikely as Josh Allen becoming a superstar quarterback, honestly. That's how mind-blowing it is to us inside of Buffalo. It's like maybe to the rest of the NFL, it's like, oh, here's this cool safety that, is starting to make some plays, but there's more to it. The lore here is that this dude was dog shit, like quite literally 6 weeks ago. So no one knows what happens. There's no explanation. I don't care. Number one doesn't know. Mina Kimes doesn't know. No one knows.
But I think there's a big enough sample size now to where you're like, oh my God, like we have something here.
Mm-hmm.
Like this might not be a fluke. Like he came in that week that you guys signed Poyer, and he performed really well, and everyone's like, oh, that's cool, about time.
Yeah.
And then now it's like, oh God, he's stacking these together.
Mm-hmm.
Like we have had like 4+ good weeks of Cole Bishop football now. You're to a point where you're like, it's not just like satisfactory. This is legitimately really, really good stuff at the safety spot that you haven't had since the last time Poyer wasn't down. So if he can keep this up, he can keep stacking some of these games on top of each other. That would be huge because it was really feeling like safety was going to have to be a huge high priority pick for you guys in this draft or in free agency. And now potentially you at least have one of those guys locked down.
Yeah, I mean, there's really no other bright spot right now either. So he is one star in a very dark sky on that side of the ball for the Bills. Like it's Deion Walker when he makes a play every like 4th drive, and then it's kind of it. And then now it's Cole Bishop because Matt Milano is playing hurt. He sucked. Terrell Bernard looked like he had cinder blocks on his feet trying to chase Baker Mayfield in the open field. No one on the defensive line can run stop. It just is so bad across the board. And Cole Bishop. So thank God. Who
would have thought? If I sat you down and I told you before the season, you will be underwhelmed by Matt Milano and Greg Rousseau and all of them, but you are going to love Cole Bishop. He's going to be the best player on your defense.
I would look at you the way that Jamar Chase looked at Jalen Ramsey. That's probably what I would
spit
do.
all over me.
Yes. But the real story of this game was, of course, I mean, I guess there's multiple, but
it's Sean Tucker.
Is it?
Sean Tucker.
It is. Like Sean Tucker.
He's pleased.
I played Sean Tucker and Travion Henderson in the same fantasy league. I was very up.
That's like 65 points.
It was 65 points to be exact. But really, like the story, of course, was Josh Allen and how the Bills' offense, it leaned in. Joe Brady changed philosophy. He leaned into Josh and his psychotic play style pretty heavily, a lot more than we have seen since Brady has taken over. And this was an adjustment that a lot of people were not sure Brady would be willing to make. And I think people overblowing like Keon not being in the lineup, and that's why things seemed to click. It just was the simple fact that Josh Allen was let loose. Like, this wasn't a game where they were passing out of necessity. They were passing because they wanted to. Like, the only games where he's had more dropbacks than this one were the games where they lost and they were playing from behind. So
yeah,
I mean, it was fun.
I mean, you also found that you have a beast out there, a receiver, in former University of Alabama outfielder Tyrell Shavers.
A beast. Relax.
Yes.
Relax.
Beast. No, he showed some stuff though, of stuff that people on that team haven't really been able to do, and that's just win downfield. And that was a beautiful ball on a frozen rope by Josh Allen. But I feel like Shavers kind of had that route. Like, he was open for a little bit, and it took a good throw, but he had some separation, and he made a good catch. And that's just something that Bills receivers haven't been doing whatsoever. Not even Keon Coleman. Like, that's what he was completely brought in here to do. And you haven't even seen those kind of take the top off the defense kind of plays yet. Like, when you have a quarterback like Josh Allen, you don't have him because he can scramble around and make plays underneath. He's learned to do that. You have him because he can be late to recognize a guy downfield and unleash, a catapult that hits him in stride. And that's what he did. So if you can get a couple more of those this season, that'll look awesome.
Yeah, it's just a reliability thing, I think, was the biggest difference. And Shavers has become kind of the stable presence for Josh. And this game was kind of that coming out party in that way. Like, he had a few very big catches. I think he had 3 catches for over 20 yards apiece. But it just is the simple fact that when he was open and Josh sent the ball his way, it was caught, the play was made, and they moved on to the next one. And we're not, hanging our heads because there was a drop or, he didn't pick up a first down. Long story short, he was a reliable option. And that's really what they don't have in this room right now. And that's what the whole storyline was with Keon Coleman. He's now having disciplinary problems. He was scratched for this football game. And I just am done. I think everyone is. I think everyone inside of Buffalo is pretty much done. I just cannot stand at this point in the whole like Keon Coleman saga. I still am seeing like the Keon versus Worthy debate come up, and I cannot stand people that are like pointing to Worthy's recent numbers and kind of expressing how, see, look, it didn't matter. Worthy also is bad. It's like, there are levels to this. Sure, is Worthy underwhelming? Fine. You can go to that extent. But Keon has reached bust territory. Like, at least when the Chiefs have wanted to and needed to rely on Xavier Worthy, they were able to successfully. Like, he has made a lot of plays for them. He's filled a lot of roles. a lot of big sets of shoes. But even when the Bills just simply wanted to feature Keon, they couldn't, not even when they needed him. So it's such a stark contrast. So I just don't want to see that debate brought up anymore and it entertained in the way that, it didn't matter who they went with. They both suck. That's not the case. They made the wrong pick. It's done with. I don't care.
It can't even be an argument anymore because Keon Coleman's not even playing. And Xavier Worthy's playing. Like I think multiple things can be true. I do think Xavier Worthy is overrated. I think people are a little higher on him than they should be. But at the same time, when the adverse is Keon Coleman, who is doing nothing and is in street clothes during a football game, fully healthy, I think you can pretty clearly see who is the better option there.
Yeah, especially when they go out and sign Mecole Hardman because he's just a fast football player. And it actually he did fumble. He did actively hurt them, but I do think there were a lot of reps where Mecole Hardman was helpful, like just by sprinting past defensive backs. Like it is important to have somebody that is threatening, regardless if they can catch or not. If they can sprint very fast down the football field, an NFL defense is forced to respect that. And at the very least, Worthy could have done that and Keon couldn't. So,
and Gabe Davis reunion. 3 catches for 40. That was fun to see.
It was. I was happy for Gabe. I was very happy. I think Gabe Davis caught some flack at the end of his Bills tenure. Like, everyone kind of thought he was overrated just because of the Chiefs game, and he went off. He was. I mean, he definitely was. But I think it was more like instead of thank you, Gabe, it was more like we don't need you, Gabe, and you're gonna go and suck somewhere else. And then he did, and now we kind of feel bad.
Well, they went from Stephon Diggs and Gabe Davis just like routing people up and winning at the catch point, and it was bliss. And then I think that they were just kind of, I don't know what people felt like. They felt like they had some guys behind that could take over. Like they thought Khalil Shakir was going to be out here winning vertically and taking the top off I don't know what they thought, but man, yeah, definitely missed prime Gabe Davis. Definitely missed Diggs, but man, like it was cool to see the Bills offense winning vertically again. That's where they need to be.
Yeah, agreed.
At least a threat.
Yes, but exactly. And Brady did something that I've always pounded the table for Bills offensive coordinators to do when Josh Allen seemingly is erratic, uncomfortable, and the train is kind of starting to fall off the rails. The number one way to realign him back on the tracks is calling QB power, QB sweeps, QB draws, just letting the ball run. And I know that there are safety concerns. You want to keep him healthy. You don't need him taking hits. But the bottom line is if the offense is struggling, the best way to get Josh and his head on straight and his confidence back is to let him run. And Brady leaned into that in this game also, which was a big advantage because he just is probably the most difficult rushing quarterback to stop on those types of concepts. Like he will get 4 yards after contact every single time. So,
yeah. I mean, we've learned quarterback confidence is like arguably the most important thing they got. And I know like he's no longer like in development mode. We know who Josh Allen is. He's a monster. But when a quarterback is developing, like trying to keep their confidence up is kind of what can keep them from being a bust versus not a bust. So if I would ask you, like, what do the Vikings do for JJ at this point to keep him from just being a shell?
It's tough because right now I don't see a product from McCarthy that is as bad as the smear campaign is making it seem. Like it's 80% of it is atrocious, but I do think this whole 9-bit is making it seem so
it's so funny,
so bad. Like it's hilarious. Like it's coming up in like conversations that don't even apply to football. It's like hilarious how far this has gone, but I think it's making it seem way more exaggerated. Like this is Bo Nix. Like this is Bo Nix to a lesser extent right now. And it feels like harassment versus flirting. Like that stupid meme, that harassment versus flirting. It's like, yeah, Bo Nix definitely does a lot better than McCarthy does. But the bottom line is McCarthy has given his team a chance to win games late in the clutch, quote unquote. And the Broncos pull through and the Vikings don't. And the narrative is different. Like, I'm not saying being Bo Nix is what you should strive to be, or comparing McCarthy to Bo Nix is a good thing, but I just don't think it's as garbage as the world is making it out to seem right now.
I think some of his other performances, I would agree. Like I think he's been very subject to heavy criticism, even from me, because I think it's not just the fact that they have a young quarterback; it's the fact that they kick Sam Darnold out.
Yeah.
For him, and the product has been it's clearly been bad. Like the record shows it. But even aside from that, I do think this game was his worst one. I know he had the late touchdown that could have won it, but I mean they would have won with 17 points, or 16 points, whatever it was, which will lose you games 99% of the time in the NFL. The 2 picks were bad, and I think the worst part. The part that really would freak me out is the fact that your guy, Justin Jefferson, is like freaking out. He is so unbelievably upset every game that the football's not even reaching his hands anymore. And that is like, you can't have that guy upset. That's your full franchise there. So I think finding a way to make him happy somehow will come back and help JJ out.
Yeah. It definitely will. Like, it would be one thing if they were losing games and there were at least some pretty connections to go along with it, but there's not. Like, the accuracy has been a problem. He's been reading concepts late. He's been, unable to evade sacks at a decent rate at all. Like, it's been not great. I just don't know. If Kevin O'Connell can't figure out how to get Justin Jefferson the football, I don't know who is. Like, who am I to tell you what can be different? And that's the Achilles heel with this whole thing. Like, I'll defend McCarthy to a very small extent, but the bottom line is this is the perfect situation for a developing quarterback, and it's been an absolute dumpster fire. So I just still, like I said, I'm not out. I'm not buying stock, though. And if I'm a Vikings fan, I think as long as you realign your expectations, like, this year's shot, obviously it's gone. What are they? They have 3 wins. Next year, first 4 or 5 games, you'll know if McCarthy's the guy or not. Maybe having someone back as your backup to potentially turn to would be a good idea. But if Kevin O'Connell can't figure it out, then I don't think anyone else can.
Everybody. That's like, I mean, they were 14-3 last season. That's my issue is, it's the fact that, like, that was your window. You're 14-3.
Yeah.
That's the best chance you can get to the Super Bowl when you're 14-3, and then, like, it's no longer fun and games. Now it's like, oh my God, like, we are going to have to let this kid develop for at least a full calendar year, probably going to be more. Because right now he's not even like just slightly below par. He's definitely well below par of a starting quarterback in the NFL, and then let alone one that can win you big football games. So it would be a little disheartening, especially for him and Justin Jefferson, to see, like, oh wow, this is going to take a while. Even if he could be good down the line, like, it's going to take a bit.
Yeah, I guess that's also what they signed up for, though, too. I think it was always ambitious to expect J.J. McCarthy, of all prospects, to be what Sam Darnold was. And we've talked about this endlessly. Like, there was definitely an expectation that they can just kind of slide one out and slide one in, and it will look like a similar product. But that was most certainly not the case. And I think, going back to the smear campaign that's going on and the contextual expectations that were set, he really was not put in a position from a media standpoint to really be successful. It was like 14-3 replication, or you know what, you're a bust, kid. And that's to me what's happening, because there were also like 4 or 5 drops that would have been big first downs in a lot of spots in this game too. Like I don't think the run game has been clicking that well. Like maybe I'm making a ton of excuses. I know he's not great, but I don't see a football team that is an offense, I will say, from a skill position perspective, that is doing every single thing they possibly can, and the quarterback's just blowing it. I don't see it like that completely.
No, I think media wise, when you say you have an alter ego,
Yeah.
like you better fucking have an alter ego. It better not just be you.
Yeah.
Like, and then like you turn around and you're the manager. Like it's got to be legitimately like Brian Dawkins and Weapon X. They gave him a fucking separate locker for Weapon X because he turned into someone else on that football field. Like you can't just be like, yeah, they call me 9, and then like just throw for 2 interceptions and like a late touchdown. Like it has to be legitimate. And if you do that, you better put that shit out there. You better be 9. And he's JJ. He's a developmental first year starting quarterback that's playing well below average football. Like that's gonna happen. But you're gonna get shot by the media if you tell people you have an alter ego. It happened to Russell Wilson. It happens to everybody.
Yeah. He did do this to himself. He did. He looked right into the camera, and he's like doing that fucking weird ass like it's
not natural. Like,
no.
Have you seen Burrow do that shit? Have you seen Josh Allen do that shit? Like, they're just them. You just got to be yourself.
Yeah,
he'll learn that. I mean, he's freaking like 23 years old. He'll be fine.
Yeah. Well, on the other side of the ball, we haven't talked about the Bears at all, but they come away with another victory against a good defense, against a good team. I mean, every single time, I don't care how many points the Bears score, every single time I watch Caleb Williams play football, I am that much higher on him. That motherfucker is unreal. He is making throws in structure. He's making plays out of structure. This is a team in Minnesota that gets a lot of pressure on a down-to-down basis. He is he's pulling away from the arms of Dallas Turner. He's spinning out of Jonathan Grenard sacks. There was a play where he was about to get sacked. I don't remember who the edge rusher was. He like plants his feet, like chops the arms of the edge rusher away, and then throws the football. It's like this guy is just so creative. He plays unconscious constantly, and it's getting refined week by week by week. And for people not to see the possibility of greatness in front of them it's hating. It's really hating. Like, we have never seen this ever. Like, we've seen Lamar, we've seen Josh, we've seen Mahomes. Caleb Williams is the first of his breed, and I am so fucking excited to see what like the peak with Ben Johnson could be, because right now he has the best highlight reel, I think, in the modern era, and he's played 2 years, a year and a half.
Yeah, and like I even had it in my notes. I love Caleb Williams. Like, I have zero hate, and like this one, I had my notes that he was struggling to execute on a down-to-down basis, but the freaking sack avoidance and the elusiveness, and for every simple read that he misses, he makes up for it on another play, making some stupid throw that he had no chance of making, that ends up being made anyways, because he just is that level of talent. And I mean, he's what, 23, 24 years old, probably. Like, I feel like for people to just come out against this guy and say that, he's not worth first overall pick. He's not on Drake May or any of them's level. Like, I think that's insane. Like, yes, he's not playing as well as Drake May right now. Sure. He's not playing as well as Jaden Daniels did last season. Sure. But he is very much playing like a first overall pick. Those guys are just also going berserk. It's not like this was a bad pick. He is a really, really, really talented football player.
Yeah, I mean he can hit a pixel from like 30 yards out, and it looks like it came out of a legitimate like Barrett 50 cal. Like it is
Yes.
insane, the torque and the zip that this ball has when it comes out of his hands. Like he hits windows that no quarterback has business hitting. Like Jared Goff would dream of being able to hit some of these windows over the middle of the field. Like the amount of diving defenders I saw in this game trying to like get in front of this blistering missile, and they would miss it because it just is going faster than the human brain can even comprehend. Like it really is unbelievable, man. Like,
once he slows down just a little bit, he's going to be unbelievable. Like, right now you can still see like when he drops back, he's like, oh fuck. Like, all right. like it's still very panicky. Yeah. And now like he is starting to hone it in on how to deal with all that. Because before it was just freak out, scramble, throw the ball up. Now it is, okay, I'm going to freak out, I'm going to run around. But that last second, I can compose and deliver a really good football. And once he gets that full composed, pre-snap, post-snap, execute, he's going to be unbelievable because there are not many better playmakers in the National Football League at all.
No, there's not. I know this is like a ridiculous thing to say. I said it in Discord the other day, and I think people thought I was joking, but I'm really not. I think Caleb Williams, by the end of his career, if my bold projection comes true, has the capability to replace Aaron Rodgers as like the best thrower of the football ever. It just, he won't win 5 Super Bowls or, be in 7 straight NFC championship games, but we'll look back at some of the throws he made and we're like, what the fuck? No other human could do that. Like, and I think he has the chance to replace Rodgers as being that type of thrower. That's how good
it's possible. I mean, his mixtape is awesome already. Like you said, after 2 years.
Yeah,
that's nuts.
Yeah, I am big on Caleb Williams right now, and he doesn't have an alter ego. He just is Caleb Williams. Talk about being yourself. That encompasses.
And people hate it actually, which is kind of the crazy part. Is like, it's for some reason what another man does with his body is freaking people out. Like that, he needs to look more manly and hot for me. I need him to. I need him to be more masculine. Like, I don't care, honestly, what my quarterback does. As long as he can throw freaking frozen ropes 45 yards down the field and hit DJ Moore in stride on the run, cool with me. That works plenty for me. Maybe get the ball to roam a little more. Other than that, we are gold. We are golden.
I think Kevin Byard having 5 interceptions in the Big 2025 is also a very underrated statistic.
I saw that today. Like, that was a note I made in my head today. I was like, really?
Yes.
Okay. Because I remember last year he had the 5th highest like run defense PFF grade, like of all safeties. And I was like, really? And then now he's like back to 5 interceptions. I'm like, really? Kevin Byard, huh? The ageless Middle Tennessee State wonder. He's like 5'11", like 220. He's just like just roaming around there like a running back.
Well, I found it interesting that also not only is Kevin Byard balling out back there, but 3 of the top 5 leaders in interceptions, individually speaking, in the NFL are all Chicago Bears players. One is Kevin Byard. He leads the NFL with 5. Tied for second, both with 4 each. Nashawn Wright, the corner, and Tremaine Edmonds. These guys are catching picks at a ridiculous clip. And I saw this tweet and I was reading into it, and this might be Al Harris's doing. He just got there a couple of years ago. He's with the Cowboys. They were near the top of the league in interceptions when, Deron Bland was going crazy. Like, obviously assistant coach of the year goes to a lot of guys before Al Harris that are specifically coordinators, but there is a lot to be said for a team that is on a 6-game winning streak, or at least they've won like 6 of the last 7 or something for Chicago. When they're getting this many turnovers, it's like Caleb isn't I'm fawning over Caleb, but they're not scoring 35 a game. It's their defense that is keeping them in games, and they're scoring points on turnovers from Al Harris's secondary and catching interceptions. It's an underrated storyline of the season for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah. Nahshon Wright, of all people. I mean, he also had a really cool moment this week.
Yeah.
Like with his former coach just passed away, John Beam, who was an awesome football coach at Laney, was a huge, really like father figure to him. Who he comes in, mosses Jordan Addison in the back of the end zone, and then has an emotional moment. I thought that was really, really cool, and I didn't really realize that he had 3 other interceptions on top of that on the season. But for him, he's like a 6'4" corner. Like, he's a big, big boy. Like, he has potential to be, a ball hawk back there, and he is showing it so far.
Yeah, he has. It's that defense is really coming to form. It's really coming to be itself. I hope that they get that defensive, that pure edge rusher that kind of tips them over the hump.
Yes,
it's kind of their
stop with the freaking 285-pound tweeners. The bigger Montez sweats.
Yeah,
they're pissing me off.
Well, there was also some very interesting semantics and a chess match, if you will, going on in the Seahawks and Rams game. And I'm not sure if you followed, but both of these teams have been recently heavy in the 12 and 13 personnel, offensive scheme lately. McVay has been deploying it heavily since the Nakua injury. Obviously, the Seahawks have always been, for the entirety of the season, an offense that deploys that type of personnel. But what I'm getting at here is there's been this popularity, if you will, of defenses just matching personnel with base. Like, they see meat, they put meat on the field. But Greg Olsen specifically, Ben Solak has been talking about it. It's kind of just brain dead because these quarterbacks are too good, and the tight ends and the receivers that are deployed expose the extra beef that is out there to try and stop the run. And this was a game where Mike McDonald and Chris Shula decided, you know what, instead of just throwing out our base defense with extra linebackers because I see 3 tight ends on the other side of the field, we're going to play more nickel. And they did that on first and second down more than they have over the course of the early part of the season. And they invited the run. Both sides of the ball invited the run. But the difference was the Rams could run it effectively, efficiently, and they forced Seattle to get out of it, whereas the Seahawks, on the other hand, couldn't. And Sam Darnold had the pass, and Sam Darnold had a really, 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 really bad day. Really, really bad day.
Yeah, I mean, if only the Seahawks had a running back as good as the Rams did, then they would be in such a better situation. But Kyron Williams, a very efficient 7.6 yards per carry, like, he looked great. Seahawks they didn't have a running back that could get it done, unfortunately, because they did not play George Holani nearly enough. But yeah, Sam Darnold, biggest stinker of the year. They're praying he can just get that out of the way because the Rams have been his kryptonite for some time. So hopefully that is just a Shula doing. He kind of just has his number completely, and he has for like 3 games in a row now. Last time he's played against them. Hopefully that's just it for them. JSN looked good as usual. Everybody looked good as usual. It was just the turnovers. Even if they had two interceptions instead of 4, I still think they win that game. I honestly even think they win that game if freaking Ethan Evans doesn't punt it down to the 1-yard line. Because, I mean, if that was a freaking 45-yard field goal instead of a 61, like, that's very, very easily a made kick. Like, Jason Myers gave that more of a chance than I thought he would.
Mm-hmm.
He had some leg on it. But
he did.
Yeah, still 61's hard as shit. I think the recent kicks people have been making are kind of making 61 look pedestrian. It's not. That's an alien level kick that, like, people can't even dream of doing. So not on him at all. It was just a freaking fantastic punt that kind of put that game down. And the Rams win an ugly game, which is good for them because it's kind of felt like they were a team where we kind of questioned how they'd fare in these ugly wins, like these dirty, grindy football wins, like how they'd have to run the ball, play tight defense, and they did it. And they won well.
They did. I just can't. I've been hesitant on Seattle just because of Darnold, and I feel somewhat validated. And I think there's been a slight misconception that he's just been fantastic all year. Like, he's not been the best. Like, the defense for Seattle has bailed out Darnold and that offense a couple times. Again, he's really only seen two defenses that I would consider to be like championship caliber, one of which being the Rams. And, we saw what that turned out to be like. But he also played against the Texans, and he tried his damn best to give that game to Houston. But Seattle's defense didn't let it happen. He didn't play good. That was before this Rams game, his other worst performance of the season. He just simply does not operate well under pressure. And like you said, if they turn the ball over twice, they win the football game. Maybe even 3 times, they might still win. But the floor is so devastatingly low that it loses them games. It's unplayable football, and not even Seattle's defense, who's been playing as good as it gets, can overcome it. So I just fear that the pattern we saw from him in 2024 is exactly what we're seeing in 2025. I have no reason to believe, especially after this game, that we are seeing any different of a version of Darnold at all.
No, this was by far his worst game. I think he's had a couple stinkers. He's also had a couple really impressive games where he was like unconscious. Like, he's had a couple of games out there where he is just in a flow state, getting JSN his 175 prescripted yards. But yeah, like they just didn't have it. Like, every time he plays against Shula messes him up mentally. And the Rams do that. Like, when they are on, especially on a pretty shitty line like Seattle does, they can really, really punish you with that front. And that's why you invest in pass rush, because it can fully change a game.
Yes, and it did. It certainly did. But the Rams escape barely with their life, but another game to put under their belt, an impressive one. The Super Bowl, it was, I would say, the leading Super Bowl favorite in the NFC right now.
Yeah, it was low-key a Stafford underwhelming game, but also playing a Seahawks defense that I think is a top 5 unit in the NFL. And thankfully, Kyron Williams was awesome. Carried them to victory, I would say. Carried them.
It was a very good showing.
He's actually day-to-day, it says, back pain from carrying them all day long.
Oh, shut up.
That's it right there.
Oh, my God. He was good, but he only had like 12 carries too. Like,
yeah, that was weird for a team that was like winning kind of the whole time. But they didn't really run. They were still just like they try to use Stafford as a running back. Like, they use his arm as the run game. It's really strange. Then that Puka fumble, like, things got bad. It was strange, but we pretend that didn't happen because we love Puka.
Yes. Right. Well, the game that also was pretty non-eventful in terms of offense was Chiefs Broncos, and this was kind of dreadful. Like, I think it was entertaining at times, but there was some very puzzling football on the television screen. And I think from the Chiefs' perspective, a lot of people are kind of freaking out. But in a vacuum, I don't think this loss really means they're broken. They were, of course, 5-4. They're 5-5 now. I think that's adding some extra panic. But at the end of the day, this is a divisional game. The Broncos defense is a top 3 defense in football. And the Chiefs have no running game. They have Mahomes. That's really it. And he's consistently struggled against this defense throughout the course of his career. Like, in 15 total games against the Broncos since he has been a starter, he has thrown just 21 touchdowns to 12 interceptions. Like, he has notoriously just had a hard time. So, yeah, sure, it sucks that they lose this close 1-score game. They're 5-5 and the world is falling. But in a vacuum, this game is not the end of the world. It's very, like, standard, I would even say, for the best of the versions of Chiefs teams.
Yeah, I think the only thing not falling for them is just that usual devil magic that seems to all people joke about it all the time, but the Chiefs always have the shit go their way. Like that's just kind of always how it's been. And now that they're the ones losing on buzzer beater field goals and they're not getting all the calls that they hope for, they look like just a regular good football team with a good defense and a great quarterback and everything pretty mediocre in between. The run game, like you said, like Kareem Hunt was fine, but 59 yards on the day for them. And Rashee Rice kind of getting put into a box, Xavier Worthy put into a box. It was just Travis Kelce really going off and then nothing else. On the Broncos side, at least Bo Nix, he had a really good game. Troy Franklin and Pat Bryant look like the two best receivers in Denver the last couple of weeks. And on top of that, Cortland Sutton's having a pretty decent game behind them. Even with no run game, they still figured it out. But like you said, elite defense behind them to support that.
Another bizarre storyline, not even just this season, but over the course of the last few, is how Mahomes just cannot hit a home run ball for his damn life.
Dude, it's weird.
Since 2023, I asked Sumer Brain, which is that AI football bot that came out that I will preface is not always perfect. It's not always 100%, and I really can't confirm or deny if this is accurate or not. But the eye test certainly checks out on it. Basically, Mahomes on throws over 35 plus yards since 2023 has hit 8 out of 49 attempts. That is just 16%, whereas the league average since then hovers around 27%. That is well below the average. And I think that also is hurting them severely. They have these high flyers, but they can't capitalize on it. They are unable to take advantage of them. And when you don't have a run game, you don't have an ability to take the top off consistently, then you're kind of left with this, kind of what the Bills have experienced lately, just facing these secondaries that kind of really congest you underneath, and it makes it difficult to move the ball on a down-to-down basis. So that is also a part of the Chiefs offense that needs to kind of figure it out, is Mahomes and the deep shot. If that can turn it around, then they are going to be horrifying again.
For him, it's fully mechanical. It always kind of has been. That was his biggest issue coming out of the draft. It wasn't the capability of his arm. Everyone knew he was capable of unbelievable things with his arm. It was just he doesn't repeat his mechanics. He throws the ball a different time every single way, and the different arm angles. He thinks that he has it down, but he very much has kind of, to me, always kind of been an inaccurate deep ball guy. I think he's very good at throwing a flat laser to any part of the field, and I think that he's really good at getting max distance and completing those kind of deep balls. But when it's the 35 to 45 to 50 yard range where he has to take a little bit off and throw with a little bit more arc, I think he really struggles. It's generally pretty bad throw, and it's really weird for a guy that's one of the best quarterbacks of all time. He hasn't really improved on that part of his game, and like you said, he's almost regressed at it the last 3 or so years. It's a strange thing to me.
It's very strange, and I don't fault Mahomes for much, because I think he does most of the heavy lifting nowadays for that offense. But that is one thing where if I had to point and say, this is why they're struggling on behalf of Mahomes, it would be the deep shot. And I think that's where that kind of started to get in my head when talking about the whole Xavier Worthy thing. It's Xavier Worthy's numbers are not the best as of late, but he also plays on an offense where he's kind of supposed to be that deep shot guy. That really doesn't happen for Kansas City, regardless of who it is. And they also don't really run too many of those over the middle crossing concepts that you see like a Jameson Williams type of guy run a lot. That's not really what goes on in Kansas City. So when he's not in the Rashee Rice role, what does that really leave him with to have production wise? Not really much.
No, he's not a traditional receiver that wins in traditional ways. He's not big enough to be running a traditional wide receiver role, as we saw. He got clipped by Kelce and was out for a couple of weeks. Like he needs a specialized role, and if he doesn't have that specialized role, it's going to be a strange outcome for sure.
Definitely. Well, speaking of Jameson Williams, the Lions and the Eagles had oh my God, how many of these bad? And I just keep realizing how many of these games had such piss poor offensive showings. Another one where
and it was
just devastatingly terrible between two supposed top 5 football teams. Just
it's kind of felt this season like it's almost like everyone has grown up so quickly in the NFL, where all these teams that were kind of like superpowers that we didn't even question, like the Chiefs, it was always like, yeah, but they have Mahomes, don't worry about it. The Bills, it was like, oh, they have Josh Allen, don't worry about it. The Lions and the Eagles, we kind of felt that they were extremely well-rounded, indestructible teams, and they've all looked very human, despite like still success among them. They've looked human, whereas teams like the Patriots and the Seahawks and like other teams, the Broncos, have looked more unbeatable than them, which is really interesting. Like these Eagles and Lions teams look highly beatable, not just after this game, but for the full season. And these just kind of put a cap on it.
Yeah, especially for the Lions. This was I thought they were, of the bunch you mentioned, they have looked like one of the strongest, especially with the way their defense has been playing. But this was a very disappointing performance for what's supposed to be an offense that is one of the most efficient. They kind of are unfazed by a lot. They have so many good skill position players. Like Jahmyr Gibbs was doing everything he could to keep this team afloat, and it still wasn't enough. Like it's a scary sight to see them look so pedestrian, because this is supposed to be the peak of it. And this is an Eagles team on the other side of the ball that is struggling equally as much, but the Lions still simply cannot keep up. Like Jared Goff, similar to Sam Darnold, was not having fun under pressure whatsoever. Like even when he got the ball out, Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis just stuck their big meaty claws up in the air and batted that shit down. It was funny. Like Goff would throw the ball and get batted, and then he just like would fucking like roll his eyes or like throw his hands up. It's like, how aggravating is that? But that was basically the night. And
yeah,
they couldn't run it, they couldn't pass it. The Lions' short honeymoon of Dan Campbell calling plays kind of was quickly ended.
Yeah, that was like their worst offensive showing, like in a long ass time. I can't even think of the last time it was that bad. So maybe it is time to reevaluate that. Not saying they have to change it, but take a look at that. Like take a look at how Dan Campbell really did as the full-time offensive play caller when they had to play a championship level defense. Not great.
No, not at all.
I think that I think Gibbs is a top 10 running back, easily borderline top 5, but David Montgomery still has a role that Gibbs cannot do. And I do think that they have phased Montgomery out of this offense too much, trying to get as much Gibbs as they can. I still think Montgomery has his games where he has to be the guy sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. And this could have been one of them. Like Goff was 14 for 37. He completed just 2 of his last 20 pass attempts in the game. He was 2 for 18 to finish it. Like there isn't much to say. It just was a complete and utter train wreck.
Yeah.
And that's at the hands of what is turning out to be the most underrated move at the deadline, of Jalen Phillips getting dealt to Philadelphia. He has just been that extra juice that they really needed up there. He's got 12 pressures in the last 2 games. He was creating havoc on one side, Jalix Hunt, Jacoby Dean on the other side, and then Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis up the middle. Like he has really been a difference maker already. They ranked like 17th in EPA per play in the first 9 weeks. And now in the last 2, they've jumped up to 3rd. Small sample size, of course, but
yeah,
it's made that much of a difference. And it's bailing out the offensive side of the ball where Patullo can't figure out what anything other than a hitch route is. So
yeah, I think their offensive play calling might like straight shoot themselves in the ass.
Yeah.
come playoff time. Like to win like 4 playoff games in a row against like elite other teams, like they're like if they're not going to unleash AJ Brown or Devontae Smith, I don't know what their game plan is going to be, because Saquon is not himself, right? I don't know what his problem is, but he's not himself, and if they can't get this passing game going, it's going to be a bumpy one for sure.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of discourse around AJ Brown right now, and whether like he's truly washed, or if the play calling's bad, or if Hurts just sucks. I think it is just an accumulation of everything all at once. Like, I think AJ Brown is definitely at times not giving his best effort. I think at times AJ Brown just isn't the same AJ Brown. I think at other times Kevin Patullo just puts the worst route combination on the field you've ever seen with your own 2 eyes. And then I think other times it's Jalen Hurts just being Jalen Hurts. So it really is just a combination of so many not good pieces of this recipe that are making this disastrous product. And I don't know how do you fix it? The last time they had this problem, they kind of cycled through a couple different guys, from Brian Johnson, right? That was his name, to whoever else tried to call plays, and it only got worse. And then they got eliminated in extremely sad fashion by the Bucs in the wild card. Like that kind of feels closer to the track that they're trending toward than, another Super Bowl appearance. But their defense could be good enough, I guess.
I think it is good enough. I mean, I think each team just has a very specific and apparent Achilles heel that you can point to and say that's how they could pretty easily lose. And the Eagles do have that with their current passing offense, and even their rushing offense is not on par with last season. But I mean, I think they still have some of the least amount of glaring weaknesses as other teams, just with how good their defense is and how good their rushing offense and passing offense can be.
Yeah. Well, I think just because it was such a big storyline, we have to touch on the Ravens and Browns game to round it off. I think I'm going to retire from my full-time job, probably from doing content, probably from the podcast, just to become a full-time member of Shedeur Sanders' PR team, because those motherfuckers do numbers on Twitter. They must make so much money just rage baiting everybody about Shedeur all day, every day. Like, they made bank this weekend.
Yeah. Like, it's unbelievable. And it's the amount of times I've heard the phrase first team reps. I have never heard the term first team reps so much in my life. And like, yes, multiple things can be true. Yes, he struggled. It was a debut. It happens. He played a very good defense. Normal. Okay, that's very normal to do. But I think people are now trying to spin it in a way that his coach set him up for failure and wanted him to do bad. Like, this specifically is why Shedeur fell. It's not because he's a bad quarterback. It's not because people specifically didn't want his personality in their room. It's just because the entire time they're making Dylan Gabriel uncomfortable as hell, calling for him to be benched after every incompletion he throws. And then when Shedeur comes in and he struggles, which happens, it's his debut. I'm not going to hold it against him. People are trying to say that the coach sabotaged his debut. This is why he is not being – it was not a priority for teams to bring that into their locker room. It's not the fact they didn't want him. They just didn't want his fanboys or his family.
Josiana Anderson or whatever her name is?
Yes. Oh, my God.
That has to be
she?
I don't know, the most delusional human being of all time. How much money was she paid by the Sanders family to be this much of a die-hard defender, to the point where she's flat out embarrassing herself? Like, she just looks stupid. Stupid.
Like they're like, what an against all odds, 3rd down, 3rd and 10 throw. The ball went 3 air yards and it hit Jerry Jeudy. He broke 3 tackles and like dove for the first down. And like, against all odds, he made that throw. Like, the pick was bad. The 14-yard sacks he was taking were bad. You cannot watch this game and come away with really anything positive for Shedeur outside of just he made a couple throws on the last drive that I thought were potentially good. But I think what we can take away from it was that It is a debut game where he was not expecting to come in, and he looked confident of all things. Like it looked like he wasn't going to get rattled by the pressure. But still, we are seeing, at least from this game, the sacks are bad. The turnover was bad. Like there was a struggle to find any execution. It was just scramble drill and throw the ball up. But still, I'm not even going to hate. I feel like there's been enough of it from everybody. But I will hate on his fanboys because, oh my God, like you said, the paychecks have to be unreal.
That the tweet word for word from Josina Anderson is her name. Here was the against all odds 3 for 10 completion by Shedeur Sanders under 2 minutes, and it was literally the dump off to Judy where he broke 3 tackles and made the first down. She replied to someone that said that was all Judy by saying, "So eager to take away credit. Why is that?" Like,
that's what I mean. Like in any world, if Joe Burrow or Josh Allen throw a check down to Shakir or Jamar and they make a huge play, everyone's like, "Wow, good play by the receiver."
Mm-hmm.
No one even mentions the fucking quarterback. Like they're not saying he should have thrown it farther. They're not saying he was amazing. They're just like, "Yeah, great play, receiver." But for some reason with this guy, he has to be like talked about after every single play that he's involved in. I get it. Like I totally get why he slipped now. Like no coach on earth wants to have to deal with that. Like at all times, he is just being accused of sabotaging this quarterback. No coach wants their players to be bad ever. Every coach wants to like don't you think he would keep his job longer if the 5th round pick quarterback turned out to be really good?
Mm-hmm.
Don't you think that would he would have a better chance of being a head coach in the NFL? But for some reason, people are like thinking he wants him to be bad. Maybe he just hasn't earned a job yet. That's possible.
This tweet says, "Here's a look at this no first team reps 25-yard chunk completion by Shedeur Sanders." Like, no first team reps 25-yard chunk completion. It's just a crazy fucking sentence. Like, what are we doing?
If Will Howard entered that Steelers game instead of Mason Rudolph and made a 25-yard completion, there would have been like 4 tweets about it total. Like it would people would have been like, "Yeah, good play, man. Cool." No one would have mentioned his first team reps like that. This is so stupid.
No first team reps 25-yard chunk completion. I'm gonna write it. If I was still in high school and I had to do a yearbook quote, that would be my yearbook quote. No first team reps 25-yard chunk completion. What a
describes
ridiculous
my school work ethic.
Yeah, right.
No first team reps.
Like what is just it sounds like somebody that is trying to like articulate football to someone that doesn't know football, and then you're like the third person on the wall listening to it, and you're like, what is this fucking moron like talking about?
Chunk completion? Who says that?
25-yard
no first team reps? What do you mean?
It's just gotta be trolling. Like there's no way you have 250,000 followers and you're just willing to embarrass yourself for no reason.
I despise that this is the thing, like the takeaway from this game, because there was so many like Dylan Gabriel was beating the Ravens.
Yep.
Fact that happened. Myles Garrett is an alien. He had freaking 3 or 4 sacks again, like alien. And then Mark Andrews takes a designed run for like a 45-yard rushing touchdown. That happened. And then for some reason, everyone's talking about freaking Twitter reactions to the game. It's so weird. That was like a really fun football game to watch. And it is being blanketed by how people are tweeting about Shedeur Sanders.
It really is.
Which is like fair.
Like Myles Garrett sacks Lamar Jackson 5 times and no one's talking about it.
He is throwing Roger Rosengarten onto the freaking floor with legitimately no effort. He's slamming him on the ground with no effort. And he is sacking the hardest quarterback to sack in the National Football League. And he is like kind of being talked about a little bit. He's having like one of the easiest defensive player of the year seasons of all time. Not even close. Yeah. He has 14 sacks already. No one cares at all.
Yep.
Because of the backup quarterback situation on that football team. Sorry, 15 sacks.
I was of the belief. I mean, I still kind of am that Kyle Hamilton would be deserving of being in the conversation, but after that, like, holy shit! It just
15 sacks already.
What the fuck?
And it's not like he's not being triple teamed.
Yeah,
he's very much being triple teamed.
He's teleporting through one guy, pushing another one to the ground, and then throwing Lamar like a rag doll. This is gonna sound like I'm hating, but I do genuinely enjoy seeing Garrett just like whip Lamar like a literal like just toy.
I like watching. He is the most fun I've had watch an NFL player, except maybe Aaron Donald. Like, he is Aaron Donald to me. Like, when you talk about just alien levels of movement and just pure strength. This is a JJ Watt. This is an Aaron Donald. Like, I don't know why it's taking this long in his career for people to start really putting him in those, like, oh, this guy might be top 10 in his position of all time. Like, if you line up Julius Peppers and Myles Garrett and you pick Julius Peppers, I'll think you're pretty weird for that. And he had a great Hall of Famer, great career, outstanding football player. But like, Myles Garrett is that level. I don't want people to like misconstrue that. He is a easily first ballot Hall of Famer, one of the best defensive ends to ever live, and no one cares because of his backup quarterback situation. It's so weird. It's so weird.
I don't think that. I'm not sure how many defensive linemen I would take over this version of Myles Garrett right now in history. There might be two, maybe.
Like, literally, Lawrence Taylor, prime JJ Watt. Are we done? Prime Reggie White. I'll give Reggie White his flowers. Prime Reggie White. Other than that,
it's tough.
I didn't watch enough Bruce Smith film to like really know. Like we're going back to like TVs with antennas to really get like some comparisons, because in recent history, like, some nerd's gonna try and tell me it's like Dwight Freeney. Like, no,
stop.
I'll kill you straight right now. No, it is maybe JJ Watt, but he didn't even play this long.
Yeah.
And then like Lawrence Taylor, Reggie White. That's what we're looking at right now with how well he's playing.
Well, the final thing I want to end this episode on is Jacoby Brissett praise. I could not get through this week 11 episode without mentioning the fact that Jacoby Brissett set the single game record for completions in a game with 47. Mind you, he also happened to have, I'm trying to find it, an 82.5% completion percentage. He completed 47 of 57 passes. How is that even remotely possible?
I don't know. Because Michael Wilson's awesome. Oh, I have a good take. Marv leaves the game for one game, and all of a sudden they're an elite passing attack. He's holding them back.
It might be Michael Wilson. When's the last time you've seen Michael Wilson or Marvin Harrison demand 18 targets and catch 15 balls for 100?
He has never had a game that well in his life. Like 185 yards. This guy went nuts. And then freaking Trey McBride had 115 and a touchdown. Greg Dortch had 66 and a score. Like, that's berserk. I mean, throwing the ball 57 times is unbelievable. The two like, if it weren't for the two picks, this might be a different conversation. But dude, some of those throws to Michael Wilson and McBride were awesome.
Yeah, like, it wasn't even like he was just dinking and dunking his way to 47 completions. Like, he was lacing that thing into some pretty tight windows. He was pushing it downfield. Like, the touchdown to McBride that he had later in the game, that was a super tight squeeze. McBride made a great catch, but it was a perfect football. Like, he wasn't playing bitch quarterback. He was trying his best to move the ball, and it just got out of hand very fast because the defense couldn't really do anything. But Jacoby Brissett, you will be a starter next year if I have anything to do with it.
Who will it be?
That's the question. I think if I had to choose right now, my vote would be, oh man, I don't know.
Ram.
Ram.
Make him a Ram. Low key. But man, has there ever been more of a Steelers quarterback though?
No, there has.
Like I feel like he's such a Steeler.
He would be the best Steelers quarterback they've had since prime Big Ben.
Yeah.
He would
like
be.
not even controversial at all.
No,
It shouldn't be. Rodgers is playing well this season. I think he could be similar, but yeah, that move kind of makes sense to me though. That's what they're looking for. They love those big old tank commanders.
If I was the Browns, I am looking for Mac Jones or Jacoby Brissett, and I'm drafting another player.
Last time he was there, he hurt us every time. He was in Cleveland. That's when he played his best football.
Yes, that's when he first put himself on the map for me. I'm like, this guy, I like that guy. He's good. And then they just abandoned
solid.
him.
There is always a point with Jacoby Brissett where I was always with you. I was like, yeah, dude, this guy can fucking ball. And then like he would have once he starts for too long, you're like, oh
yeah,
that might be why. But then like he comes back in as a backup, and you're like, hell yeah. So Jacoby, I think we figured it out. He is a horrible starting quarterback when he is supposed to be the starting quarterback, but when he comes in off the bench with no expectations. He's a Hall of Fame football player.
Agreed. He played I think maybe 10 total drives when he was with the Commanders. And that was when they were struggling to really move the ball. Terry wasn't doing great when Sam Howell was there. And I remember he stepped in against the Rams late and just hucked a deep ball to McLaurin, and he caught it like a 55-yard bomb. And it's like, wow, was that so difficult? That's what Brissett offers you. So
print the t-shirts.
I'm
not sure what his slogan would be.
I'll make one. I'll be sure to make one. It's the leader of the Jacoby Brissett fan club.
Yeah, this is like your biggest one. This is your most consistent fan club for sure.
Yes, I have text messages dating back multiple years of Jacoby Brissett love. I have proof of this. Me and my mid football players, I just have a slew of love for these just randomly mid guys that
I get it.
They just form a place in my heart. I don't know what else there is to it.
I found a sick $16 t-shirt.
What is it?
It's just him with no logo on his helmet or anything. It's like a generic Jacoby Brissett. It's a maroon football jersey and helmet with no words or logos on it to avoid copyright. It's $16.
It's just him without. There's no caption.
Yes. Oh no, it says Jacoby Brissett.
That's awesome. You got to send that in the Discord.
I will do that.
That's hilarious.
From T Public. I found another kind of sick shirt. I'm gonna send these out. We're gonna get these. We're gonna get these printed.
Yes. Jacoby. It just says Jacoby Brissett. That's awesome. That's all it needs to say. You get the point. You get the point. All right. Well, if you don't have any other thoughts on Week 11, we will wrap it up right there. If you guys enjoyed, as always, feel free, comment, subscribe, share, leave all your thoughts in the comments, join the Discord where you can potentially buy a Jacoby Brissett t-shirt, and we will see you in episode 75.